My name is Lidia Varbanova, and I'm an international consultant, educator, researcher, as well as coach in the field of arts, culture, and creative industries. Entrepreneurship and innovation, vectors for successful fundraising. In this video, we're going to look at several important things. One, what is entrepreneurship? And I'll walk you very briefly through the whole theory of entrepreneurship in the last 200 years. Second, who are the entrepreneurs and their profiles in the arts and culture sector? And then third, what is innovation? Why is it so important for us in creative industry sector? And also, what are the possible types of innovations and why actually they're good vectors for looking for external financing? So to start with, there is a lot written about what is entrepreneurship and who are the entrepreneurs. I tried to split the whole theory in 6 parts. The first group of theories concentrate on the fact that entrepreneurs are the ones who are risk takers. And these are one of the oldest theories from the age of late 17 and beginning of the 18th century. So these scholars say that entrepreneurs take a huge amount of risk when they start to create an enterprise. The second group of theories put stress on the fact that entrepreneurs are also helping a lot for economic and social development. Jean-Baptiste Say, for example, in the 18th century and early 19th century, stresses on the fact that entrepreneurs are taking resources from the areas of lower productivity to the areas of higher productivity. The third group of theories mainly stresses on the importance of entrepreneurs as innovators. And this is also the name of Joseph Schumpeter, who invented the term creative destruction, saying that entrepreneurs are also change makers in the society, and they are not only business people, but they take innovation as something very important. The fourth group of theories, we can cover them by saying that these are the ones stressing on the importance of the individual characters and individual traits of entrepreneurs. For example, the risk-taking, the ability to create, the proactive presence, also the ability to lead others, the ability to excel and to really look for something new. And the last 2 theories, one of them is called the push and pull theory, because it concentrates on the importance of the external factors that are shaping entrepreneurs to become as such. For example, something negative from the external environment that is really pushing us to become entrepreneurs, or something positive, the influence of the family or the education or the country where we live could have a positive influence on our decision to become entrepreneurs. And the last one are those theories that actually they combine the idea of being an entrepreneur with the abilities to lead others and also to manage others, because at a certain point, when we start a venture, it's very, very small and very starting from 1 or 2 persons, but with the time, it grows up. So at a certain point, the entrepreneurs really become managers and leaders because they have to manage finances, they have to manage others, they have to manage markets and so on. So from this point, knowing all the kind of different entrepreneurial theories, let's look at the definition. And in my book on international entrepreneurship in the arts, which is just published by Routledge, I came up with this definition as a result of talking with a lot of entrepreneurs from more than 25 countries. So the basic definition which I came up with is that entrepreneurship is an economic as well as social and cultural activity. In the arts and culture, it's important that it stresses on 3 things. One is the love for the arts and really the passion for the arts. The second important angle is knowing the culture context in which arts operates nowadays, knowing the overall context in which arts and culture operate. And the third one is the leadership abilities, and then the abilities of an entrepreneur to really look in the future and to have a specific vision. So entrepreneurs are people who actually, they start from an innovative idea, they utilize this idea to create a new enterprise, and they organize resources which are usually beyond their disposal. They take a certain amount of risk, which is important to emphasize that in arts and culture sector, it's not just financial risk, but it's also the risk of their reputation. Let's look at what are the different types of entrepreneurs in the arts and culture sector. Again, in the book on international entrepreneurship in the arts, I split them into several different profiles. One of them could be the entrepreneurs working in all the area of culture and creative industry. Usually we call them culturepreneurs. And this term is led by the fact that they could be not only working individually, but I could be part of an organization. And this is exactly the point of a new term called intrapreneurship or organizational entrepreneurship, which is very little explored in the arts and culture sector, but it means people who work with an already established organization. Another type of entrepreneurs could be artpreneurs or artists who are doing their art, but together with this, they also are dealing with all the area of financing, fundraising, marketing, organizing their activities, presence on and offline, etc. Another group are digital entrepreneurs, those who in 21st century use different types of online technologies as well as new technologies in the arts to make their venture possible. And of course, again, in the book you can read about others, for example, the difference between social and business entrepreneurs, and part of the social entrepreneurs, for example, are those that are motivating and working with communities to make a specific area much better for living and for being there and for working there. In the second part of this video, we are going to talk very briefly why innovations are so important and what are the different types of innovations and what are their specificities in the arts and culture sector. It's very well known that innovations are tools for entrepreneurship, and this is because they emphasize on the uniqueness, on the difference between the venture which we are starting up and everyone else around us. So it differentiates us from others in the same sector. Innovations usually can be in different ways. They're not only connected with the technical development, but they have a social and economic angle as well. So innovations could be in the process, in the product, they could be at the beginning of starting up an enterprise, they could be in the way how we market our activities. So there are a lot of also resources written about different types of innovations, but I would like to mainly split them into two main groups. One are the breakthrough innovations and the others are the incremental innovations. The difference is that the breakthrough innovations really concentrate on something that is revolutionary. So they break up the usual way by which we do things, and they result in inventing and putting on the market a new product or a new service. They require usually a huge amount of research and development and also risk involved with that. While breakthrough innovations usually means adding something additional to an existing product or a service, and they're much less risky than the breakthrough innovations. Other theories split the innovations into social innovations and business innovations, and this is why in the second part we're going to also concentrate on different models for social and as well as business enterprises. In the arts and culture sector, innovations have also different specificities. For example, they have a dual nature. And this duality comes just because every creative innovation reflects on the organizational process and vice versa. Organizational and marketing innovations in the arts, they definitely reflect on the way how we do programming and how we do our creativity. They also have a collaborative character, and this is why the third video will look at different ways of crossovers between arts and culture sector, because the theory as well as international practices show that we are much more proactive and much more efficient if we invent something together with others in a collaborative and also mode of working together. This is why in the third video we're going to look at some crossovers between arts, culture and other sectors, because one of the characteristics of innovations in our field is also that they have this cross-sectoral character. And last but not the least, they're very much connected with the specific country, not only industry but also country. So they have specific elements, because what is innovative, for example, in France might not be innovative in Mongolia and vice versa. So we have to consider these specificities when we start working as creative entrepreneurs. Thank you very much for watching these 2 videos. You can find a lot of materials online, and please explore them very carefully, together also with my 2 books on strategic management in the arts and international entrepreneurship in the arts. I'm very grateful for your online participation.